الموضوع ينضم إلينا من الرياض السيد دانيال وايتهايد الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة عناية السعودية للتأمين التعاوني. سيد دانيال، أهلا ومرحبا بك وشكرا لانضمامك. دعنا نتحدث بداية عن الخطوة ما بعد تخفيض رأس المال لإطفاء الخسائر. ما هي الخطوات القادمة في عملية إعادة الهيكلة التي تقومون بها؟
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here to talk about some of the exciting changes that have been happening at Saudi Anaya over the last year. Before I get into talking about the next steps, I just wanted to spend a moment really to clarify why it was necessary to reduce the capital at the beginning of this year. Accumulated losses had reached 50% of capital because of some pricing errors that had been made as far back as 2017 and 2018. And in this business, as you know, you make money or you lose it when you sell the policy. And if you get it wrong, those losses will stay with you for monthly up until the end of that policy, and often for a year longer until the losses are fully out of your books, depending on how quickly the claims come in. Which means that bad decisions stay with you for quite a long time, and good ones take some time to be visible. So 2019 was a year of restructuring for the company. I joined a little more than a year ago and immediately implemented a number of changes to the way business was being done in terms of underwriting, in terms of sales, operational processes. We improved the claims turnaround times. Our underwriting year 2019 performance is much better than 2017 and 2018. So only now we're beginning to see the results of those changes with the Q1 results that you just alluded to. So a lot of the changes that were put in place early in 2019 when this turnaround started are now becoming visible, and we can see that in the financial statements. So last year we also reduced expenditures by about 10%. So we're working to right-size the organization to help take us forward into the future. And the capital reduction allowed us to draw a line under the past by writing off all of those losses related to prior years and to begin investing in our 5-year plan, which is the next steps you asked about. So my intention is for Saudi Anaya to become one of the leading players in the market in Saudi Arabia. And in order to do that, we need to invest in areas which are going to drive our growth. So scale and size is really one of the keys to profitability and sustainability in this industry, in this particular market. So that means we need to invest in sales and marketing above all, in product development. We need to make policyholders want to be insured by Saudi Anaya through improving our member services and digital engagement. And to do that, we have one advantage over our competitors, or many of our competitors in this marketplace, in that two of our major shareholders are the international companies Munich Reinsurance and Daman Insurance from UAE. These are world-class leaders in the industry, and we've brought a lot of knowledge from them. I myself worked for Daman for 5 years before coming last year to lead the turnaround at Saudi Anaya. So our first goal was to take the best practices and bring them to Anaya, and having accomplished that last year, our goal now is to bring those best practices to the marketplace in general in Saudi Arabia by leading the way in things like holistic care for members through disease management programs, through corporate wellness, home services, and telemedicine. With Anaya, you can have your medications delivered at home. You can even have a dentist at this point come out to your home and perform some procedures. We want to engage our policyholders more transparently, so we've developed technological tools which will enable policyholders to see the real-time performance of their policies. That's part of Anaya's Edge. We're calling it the Real-Time Policy Intelligence Portal. And we're also investing in advanced analytics. So the market outside of Saudi Arabia has advanced quite rapidly in the last 5 years technologically. So things that we see around the world in terms of the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence, we would like to bring those to Saudi Anaya and to Saudi Arabia as well. So as you know, the health insurance industry collects a lot of data. It's a high transaction business. So there's enough data available to really improve predictions, to understand the underlying health of our members, in terms of, and also fraud, waste, and abuse. So there's a lot of applications of these things. So these are what we believe will differentiate Saudi Anaya in the future, and they're the areas that will define us going forward.
طيب جيد. الآن دعنا نتحدث عن تحركاتكم الاستراتيجية. يعني لا شك أن الفترة الحالية تفرض ظروفا استثنائية على الكثير من القطاعات، منها بلا شك قطاع التأمين، يعني ربما الكثير من الشركات بدأت تقيم الخيارات يعني سواء التوسع مثلا خارجيا، شراكات مع شركات أخرى، أو عمليات اندماج واستحواذ. ما هي خياراتكم الاستراتيجية في هذه المرحلة؟
As I said, the capital reduction earlier this year gave us some breathing room to really focus on our strategy going forward. So my intention is to continue to turn Saudi Anaya into a company worth investing in. So we have no real urgency to get into any discussions around this area. If Saudi Anaya did need capital again in the near future, we would, of course, go to our shareholders initially. But we're considering all options. That's ultimately a decision for the shareholders and for the board. But at the moment, our focus is simply on turning Anaya into a leading company in the industry, and to do that as well as possible.
يعني توقعاتكم للتأثير على القطاع، متى يمكن أن تعود الشركة إلى الربحية والمنافسة، والحصة السوقية بالنسبة للشركة في الوقت الحالي كم تبلغ، وكيف يعني تخططون لزيادتها؟
So the disruptions that we've seen related to the pandemic are unprecedented in our lifetimes, and the impact will be felt on the economy and on the industry for quite some time. It's still too early to say exactly how things will turn out, but there are three things I think we know for sure at the moment. Firstly, sales have become more challenging in this environment. Many businesses are struggling to stay afloat. Many of them are finding it hard to afford their health insurance premiums at the moment. And many who are up for renewal have decided to postpone those renewals. So sales are more challenging for sure in this environment, as I think would be expected. Secondly, and at the same time, however, medical expenditures have also dramatically decreased, and that's because of the impact of curfews that were imposed, the lockdown for the last several months. People are putting off elective surgeries and also just visiting the doctor in general. So while sales are harder now than they used to be, the margins should be better considering the decrease in medical expenditures. So, and then thirdly, we know for sure that uncertainty has gone way up in the last few months and will continue to stay that way for the near future. In this industry, your forecast can make or break your entire year or your entire company. So it's essential to get the forecast right. And with higher uncertainty, that becomes more challenging. So at Anaya, we've chosen to be more conservative in our forecasting. We want to be as data-driven as possible and not to make any assumptions before those things are clear in the market. Because you don't know what will happen once the lockdown is over. There's a lot of pent-up demand for elective surgeries. Some urgent care was probably postponed during the lockdown, so that could lead to more serious conditions later and more expensive ones. We may also see a spike in maternity services in 9 months' time. So there's a lot of uncertainty about the way the market will change in the near future. But I'm optimistic about the industry overall. I think we've shown a lot of resilience. Also, I'd like to say thank you to SAMA and to CCHI and to the Ministry of Health and to the government in general. They've supported the industry quite a lot in the recent events. And so we've been able to adapt really quickly to remote working. The entire company's been working remotely for the last 3.5 months and without any noticeable impact on productivity. So, and one of the positive features of this pandemic is that it has accelerated many of the technological changes that were coming anyway, such as telemedicine, home services, online services. So we're investing in digital. It's possible to submit claims digitally through our online website and also through our application. So these are the things that we'll be focusing on going forward.
أنا أتمنى لكم التوفيق وأشكرك سيد دانيال وايت هايد الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة عناية السعودية للتأمين التعاوني. شكرا جزيلا لك.